Alright everyone, welcome back to my MotoGP 15 career. In the previous race it was the Argentine Grand Prix at the Termasterio Hondo. It didn't really go to plan first. We only finished 19th, our target is 15th and to be scoring points, and we didn't do that. And yeah, there's once again no points for Mahindra in that race. But yeah, we're not worrying too much about the other Mahindra riders, I guess, but I mean, I guess we're sort of like using them as sort of a reference point to see how sort of our own private team is doing like against those Mahindra teams, I guess. As we're now heading to the Spanish Grand Prix then at Jerez, and I'm just hoping that we can finally get things going then and get some good improvements on this bike. I mean, we're heading to the start of the European season now then, and yeah, hopefully things will start looking up for now then, as we're now going to go into qualifying.
Hello from Jerez. Only a few minutes to go before we see the first bikes take to the track for the start of the qualifying session. The forecasts confirm exactly what you can see for yourselves. The weather is decidedly good, and it's going to stay that way for the rest of the day. So
here we are then on our first lap of qualifying. So I was just turned down the traction control there, I just remembered to do that. And we actually have a new livery there. You can't really see it from here, but as we cross the line then, our first time is a 1:51.2, which is 3 seconds off the pace. So yeah, we're looking to improve on that. But yeah, we've got this new livery now then for the start of the European season. That was only just because I started looking at the liveries and like really noticing that you could change them, because yeah, I've just been sort of racing through it and not really paying attention to much other stuff, if I'm honest. But yeah, so we're sort of just slowly improving our times really. We were down in 30th for quite a while, and then we improved to 18th at that time there, about a quarter of the way into the session, and well, more of a third really in the session, so quite a way into it. And then on next lap we improved a little bit once again and go 15th, so that's encouraging. And we didn't actually improve after that for quite a while until our final lap. We were pushing quite a lot. We were up in the first 2 sectors, and then we just dropped on the curb. Took a little bit too much, and that was our best lap gone then, unfortunately. So it was 16th place in the end. Danny Kent once again takes pole position from Miguel Oliveira then, and he's just unstoppable this season it seems, as we were the quickest Mahindra just about from Guevara. Actually no, we went Bagnaia was faster than us, so it's a little bit disappointing in the end. We were 17th actually, someone must have pipped us at the end. But yeah, still in a fairly decent position then to maybe challenge for points then, as we're now going to go to the race.
Greetings to all you racing enthusiasts. The 4th race of the season is about to get underway here at the Jerez de la Frontera circuit, the traditional home of the Spanish Grand Prix in the Moto3 class. The weather is fine and the temperature is perfect for racing, so we're just waiting to find out which riders have opted for hard tyres and which have gone for the soft.
So here's how they line up then for today's Spanish Grand Prix. Danny Kent once again taking up pole position then. There we are then, once again in the middle of the 6th row, as we were in the first race of the season at Qatar, I believe. And yeah, surrounded by a few Mahindras and a few KTMs in there as well. So it looks like we're going to have a battle on to be top Mahindra then, as we finally get a good look at our livery then, just through those graphics there. Sort of a bit Super Aguri-esque, I think, but yeah, that was just sort of a coincidence really with what it lets you do with the colour scheme and that. And yeah, here we are then on the grid, and the lights are about to come on now. And away we go then at Jerez. It looks like we've got a good getaway then, and again alongside Livio Loy, and it looks like Bagnaia has been passed by Fanati then as they head towards turn 1, so we'll see if we can get at the inside of him. The back tyre again up off the ground a little bit as we head this uphill turn 1. Looks like we've got up in 16th place and past Loy. Looking at Bagnaia, I think we had a little bit of a nudge there from Loy in fact, and we went a little bit too wide there. We're now banging fairings with Bagnaia and Loy there through that turn 3, and now the long turn 4, a little bit on the curve. That's a bad line there. Luckily it wasn't a crash though, but we've got Loy looking at us once again then towards turn 5. I can't really remember much of the names of these corners. I mean, they want to remember Lorenzo corner and dry sack, so yeah, that's great. But we've got a good run on Bagnaia then, and it looks like we're up into 15th place now then. This battle then for the last point between the two Mahindras, and we're going wheel to wheel. Bagnaia is trying to go around our outside, but no, we've forced him out and slammed the door, and he tries to fight back once again, but we slammed the door once again on him, and we're up into 15th place for now then. And yeah, there's still quite a group up there in front of us that we could go and catch, and hopefully we can catch up to them this time and not get sort of mired down in the pack like we did in Argentina, because that was so frustrating how we just couldn't seem to catch up because we were getting passed left, right and centre, and yeah, it really just ruined our race. And that just seems to be one of the downsides of the Mahindra at this stage. It doesn't seem to be maybe it's just us in fact, but as Bagnaia charges up her inside there, and yeah, it just seems that one thing we've lacked is, yeah, he's going through now. It looks like Ono's going to be lining up as well then, and I'll come back to my point in a minute then, as we're got a nice battle going on here for the final point then between Bagnaia, Ono and Loy. And once again, it just seems we don't have that drive out the final corner, so I think that's a lot of what it is. Just in some parts of the tracks we are sort of struggling out, as you can see we're still getting these R&D updates, and hopefully we'll start seeing noticeable improvements soon. As into turn 1 we're really under attack there from Loy and not sure who that other bike was, but they're both looking up for inside now then. In fact, I think there's a few there. There's Philip Ertel and he goes to the front of this group, and Matteo Ferrari's there as well. And well, this is already starting to look reminiscent of Argentina then, as Ferrari's make contact with Lloyd then, and we're past both of them. Now looking at Ertel into turn 5, and can we cut back underneath? Well, no we can't, because Lloyd's there, but we have bumped ourselves back ahead of him and cut underneath Ertel, and back in 17th place we go then. But can we catch back up to Ono and Bagnaia there then? It looks like Ono's in fact fast and Bagnaia then, so Mahindra once again struggling here, and Ertel's back up her inside, and Ferrari's through as well, as is Loy. Minio is looking there as well, and I just don't know what it is. This Mahindra just doesn't seem to be as great, and it seems that whenever I try and like sort of take the inside line, just sort of get forced out wide, which is why I tend to try and use the outside line a bit more to my advantage. But as you can see, it doesn't always work, especially when you've got about 3 or 4 bikes just charging your inside. As we're right in behind this group now then, hopefully we can stay with them and sort of work our way back up there, but it's going to be difficult now then, as we're stuck in a sort of a battle here that we don't want to be in really, and that's what costs us in Argentina I guess. And it looks like it might be costing us today then already, so it's quite frustrating here then. And I think just a combination of we need to improve our racecraft. I mean, as I get back to the game, hopefully that'll just come sort of naturally, but just here, I mean, there's just no drive out the final corner then. I don't think my line was too bad, but just look at that, we're under threat of about 3 or 4 bikes then. Looking for inside, Bagnaia's through, not my guy, that's Minio. Cornfile, Aya over there as well, and see, it's what I mean, I'm just there on the outside. I can't tin in them because there would just be a crash. And yeah, both of them are through then. We're down to 23rd, but we just fight back at both of them, so it's 21st for now then. That was a little bit of a mistake for me there then, granted that, but yeah, going over the curb. But yeah, down to 23rd place now then, and yeah, it really can get frustrating after a while as we go back up the inside then now then, and we may even have a look at Minio getting his slipstream. But yeah, it is pretty frustrating this, and it's realistic, I'll give them that. And I guess you have to applaud Milestone for that. I think I mentioned it in the previous episode as well. Look at this then, we're completely under attack there. Just it was sort of bumper cars there through the corner, and we maintain 21st for now then, staying on that inside line I guess, so maybe it did work out a little bit better for us there. But we're now on the inside of Minio then, up into 20th place are we. It doesn't look like he's fighting back, and yeah, through we go then. And there's a group of 3 up ahead of us, and that only gets us up to 17th then, so yeah, it's not really where we want to be. It's outside the point, so it's not much use to us I guess, especially as our target position is 15th. So yeah, this is looking like it's going to be another race where we maybe come up a little bit short unfortunately, but still half the race to go, and hopefully we can sort of get back on the attack. And it looks like there's actually 4, no there isn't, never mind, as Minio goes back at the inside then of us into the final corner. And can we get a good drive this time? We're right in behind him, and well, we do that time, but down the straight, look at that, he's just fighting, he's just like, yeah, fighting straight back, and it's like the Mahindra just doesn't seem to have any chance against them with that drive down the straight. But Minio's back through then. We're getting a bit of the doctor's dangle there into turn 1. Haven't really seen much of that yet, but yeah, it's no use. Our braking for that corner was still not good enough to maintain the position, and Minio's through then. We're down to 21st once again, and we'll just have to well, we'll do this then, fight straight back, and that's what we seem to have been doing all race, or at least attempting to. And yeah, well, we're catching right back up to this group in front of us now then, so there's still hope yet then I guess. But as long as Minio isn't going back on our attack here. I mean, it really all depends on, like, you have to be looking in, behind as much as you do in front, as we try and like take the apex there, but Minio's there on our inside, so we couldn't really do so. But we still have maintained the position. I don't think we lost too much time to those in front of us, and yeah, as long as I can sort of catch. Oh, we crashed. Never mind, forgot about that, but we do have a rewind of course, so yeah, there's that. And yeah, back we go then, and hopefully we won't make that mistake twice, as we head to the left-hander. I take a little bit more cautiously than I would have done normally, so I mean, wouldn't have gained as much time as I'd have hoped in that section, but we do seem to have caught him back up a little bit, so that is encouraging then, and hopefully we can get ourselves back amongst this group. So yeah, I mean, it looks like, as you can see, I'm just getting out a picture there, then Ono and Banyai who are battling for the final point, and it's looking like they're a little bit too far out of reach at this stage, and with just over 2 laps to go, it doesn't seem likely that will catch them. But this group here in front of us, it looks like we could catch them, and of course if we can get up to like 17th, then that would be an improvement on the 19th we got in Argentina. So I mean, just have to try and think of the positives in sort of every situation, and yeah, and that's why we're trying to just catch them back up and gain that position, because we don't want to be sort of on a losing streak. But we've crashed into turn 1, there's no flashback to save us this time, just too much curve once again, and turn 1 wasn't really a corner I was really that comfortable at all weekend, if I'm honest. But yeah, we're down to 29th place, and we're going past Darren Binder then, the brother of Brad, and yeah, back into 28th for now. Then there's a nice battle going on in front of us then between Guevara, Mansi and Gardner then, and I'm pretty sure Guevara lined up just behind us on the grid then, so he's gone backwards as well. But another crash there, and it's just getting a bit ridiculous now then, and well, really we're down to last place then, 34th and last, as just seems to be battles everywhere. But I mean, we're just going backwards, dropping like a stone. But yeah, as I was saying, we were sort of just behind Guevara there, who's down to 25th, and we started on the same row I believe. So yeah, you can see that Mahindras just seem to go backwards in the race. I mean, some of them do anyway. Banyaya's doing a fairly good job, but I'm pretty sure he's dropped from about 14th to 16th so far. So yeah, it just seems that whatever the Mahindras can do in qualifying, they just can't seem to recreate in the race, unfortunately. And I know it may sound like I'm trying to make excuses, but honestly, if you we're seeing it from how I was, then you would understand that for some reason it just doesn't work out in the races, and I think I just need to get a bit better at the game. I mean, obviously I threw myself in at the deep end, putting it on the hardest difficulty, but that's only because I did that. I used the hardest difficulty for both 2013 and 2014, and I mean, in 2013 I got up into MotoGP, I'm pretty sure, before I like sort of just got bored of it, and in 2014 I kind of got bored pretty quickly, but I think that was just because the game wasn't that different from the 13 game. But in this one I can certainly see myself playing it a lot more. I just need to get better at it, because I mean, I've almost caught up to where I like stopped in the MotoGP 14 career. I mean, I did about like 6 or 7 races in that, and well, yeah, this is episode 5 I believe, and it's our 6th race because we did 2 in the first episode. And yeah, as we look at the inside then, Tanucci and Rodrigo, and we're up into 32nd place, so yeah, that's great. And yeah, maybe we can go on the attack as 31st then. Those are things you don't really ever expect to say in racing games, well, it's certainly don't hope to say anyway. But it's one that breaks them towards the hairpin, and I thought they might actually look back up inside there then, as we actually managed to take the line properly this time. But yeah, going back to what I was saying then, I think just as I like play this game a bit more, I'll get better at it, and I think just as more upgrades start coming in for this bike, I mean, I don't know if I'll just like keep upgrading it, or if once I earn like enough money I'll just like buy the team like a Honda or a KTM or something, because you do have to like build up for quite a while, and that's like assuming you get good results every time. But yeah, here we are then on the final corner, and a Quattararo on the race. So it's not Danny Kent for once, and yeah, his dominance is over then, I guess, as we're looking at Ana Carrasco then into the final corner, and I think we're past then into 31st place. But no, what is going on here then? for some reason we touched the brake and the rear tyre decided to just take off, and yeah, we're down to last place then after 3 crashes, I believe it was, and yeah, we crossed the line then, a nice wheel over the line for last place. But yeah, how many times do you get to say that you've finished a race in 34th position? So, you know, you've got to look at it that way. As we see the final results then, and Danny Kent has still won the race even though he didn't win the race, so I mean, what more can you say about that then? Seems that no one else can win this season then, as the best man then Francesco Bagnaia was 16th there then, so no points once again for this manufacturer. And there we are then in last place, as I say. I mean, hey, we beat this guy, Tatsuki Suzuki. I mean, yeah, where has he been? So yeah, we've beaten him at least, but I mean still, how many times do you get to say you finished 34th? I mean, this is quite an achievement, I think. But see the championship then, and Kent has not got 100 points then, so the computers are trolling us then. I guess Quartararo did win the race after all. It was a dead heat as we saw, but yeah, Kent wins and even when he doesn't win, I guess. But there we are then, we've dropped to 16th unfortunately. Ono has overtaken us, and hopefully we can regain that at Le Mans next time out. And there's constructors then, Honda, they've won every race so far then, and they seem to be the dominant constructor this season, I guess, unlike in F1. But yeah, Mahindra's still down at the bottom, and hopefully we can really improve that bike soon. But that is it for today. A rubbish race result, I guess, but if you did enjoy it, leave a like, and I'll see you next time for the French Grand Prix at Le Mans. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.